In this video, I'm going to explain the references to the book Journey to the West, 西游记, contained in a recently released super exciting Chinese game trailer, Black Myth, 悟空. Hi, you're watching Avenue X, where a junkie on good storytelling shares her thoughts, knowledge, and occasional weird ideas on stories and how they're told. If this is your first time coming to Avenue X, this is a channel that's exclusively on Chinese drama reviews, but very occasionally, I also talk about other stuff. And this video is one of those exceptions. The Black Myth 悟空 trailer got released a couple of days ago and it got really popular, both within China and internationally. The reason I'm making this video is because I've seen many reaction videos on YouTube, and after watching them, I really wanted to jump into their video and tell them, you're missing this part, you're missing that part. So this video is my attempt to pull out all the literature and cultural references that I can see contained in this game trailer. First, a quick introduction to Journey to the West, 西游记, the novel, and the character, 孙悟空. 西游记, Journey to the West, is a Chinese classic novel that's written during the 16th century. Exact date unknown. Today, commonly believed to be written by the author Wu Cheng'en. This is considered China's first formal, long-form fantasy novel. Although one of the main characters, Tang Zeng, the monk of Tang, is based on a real monk who lived during Tang Dynasty, the story itself is a fantastical story that features gods, fairies, demons, heavens, hell, all kinds of mythological and imaginary places and characters. The novel is 100 chapters long and it contains 820,000 Chinese characters. Now, let me very quickly condense the story of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. This monkey is born out of a stone. He has no father, no mother. He's super clever, super strong. He immediately becomes the Monkey King within the region he lives. Because of how clever this monkey is, he decided he wants to learn how to live forever. Cultivation. If you're familiar with Chinese dramas, you know how prominent that concept is. So he goes on a journey and finally finds a really capable teacher and learned from that teacher of incredible magical skills. Afterwards, he decides to upgrade his weapon, so he goes under the ocean to the realm where the dragons rule and steals their most precious pillar of supporting the ocean. We will see that later in this game. And turns it into a stick he uses. He also goes up to the heavenly realm and makes a huge mess over there because he's so skilled, so clever, so powerful that actually none of the gods can defeat him. In the end, the heavenly emperor goes to the Buddha to ask for help. And Buddha, being who Buddha is, defeats the monkey without an effort and locked the monkey under a mountain for 500 years. Then the monkey is told one day a monk is going to walk by you and he will release you from the mountain. In return, you will have to accompany his journey to the west to get Buddha's scripture. And the monk does come eventually. He is Tang Zeng. The Monkey King becomes the disciple to the monk and he's called Wu Kong, literally meaning understanding the concept of Kong. It's too complicated a Buddhist term to explain here. So he becomes a servant slash disciple to the monk. On their way to the west, more characters join their journey, including a pig, a river god, and a white dragon turned white horse. They encounter many challenges, many dangers, many difficulties on their way, eventually succeeding at arriving at Buddha's place in the West and getting the scripture. The Monkey King is awarded with the title Victorious Fighting Buddha, 斗战胜佛. So that is the condensed version of the story of Sun Wukong. Knowing that will really help you understand the stuff that's referred in this 30 minutes long game trailer. I'm going to skip the first part of the trailer where the animated old monk is talking about the story's beginning. Because it is subtitled, it's very easy to understand what he is saying. He does look like the old age, fully turned into human version of the monkey. He also looks very much like the profile picture of this game company's account on Bilibili, on which they released this trailer. So maybe the old monk is at the end of the story monkey? Because this game's version of Journey to the West is their version. It's the black myth. It's like the other story that people do not know. It could really play at such as parallel universe, such as one of the characters I'm going to talk about later as we watch the trailer, or other things that's common in the age of deconstruction that we're living in. Let's start with the cicada part. First, let me quickly mention the cicada's reference. It is probably referring to first Sun Wukong's 72 different forms of transformation ability. He often turns into little bugs so that he can get into very small spaces and eavesdropping on people. The second thing it may be referring to is golden cicada Jing Chan is the name of Jing Chanzi, who is a disciple of the Buddha, and he reincarnated many times until he becomes Tang Seng, the Tang monk of Journey to the West. So that may be the two references that's being used at the same time. In the gameplay, they're using this ability as the player's stealth mode. So the cicada flies into this region of mountain and comes across wolf soldiers. These wolves are the demons of the mountain. They are cultivated from animals and become this type of Yao in traditional Chinese mythology. And they're having conversations. As I'm watching it, I'm gonna explain what those soldiers are saying. So the first line comes from two wolf soldiers. One of them is saying, "Oh, there are a couple of wine jars. I wonder if there's still wine left inside." The other wolf is saying, "Don't drool over it. Be careful if we mess up with our task." So presumably they're out on a task and saying, if we mess it up, we'll be eaten as side dishes by Lin Xu Zhenren. Lin Xu Zhenren is the later wolf that you will see, like the big boss that our character has to fight off. And this is based on Journey to the West plot, where there is a place called that. It's ruled by a bear demon and a wolf demon. But we'll talk about that later. Another two characters are talking. One is saying, "Oh, brother, I hear there's some disturbance at the front gate of the mountain." The other wolf is answering, "Don't get paranoid. With a brother like me who is so strong guarding over here, who would be so senseless to come in and look for death?" The voice actors do a great job imitating the 1980s drama in China, Journey to the West, that is so influential, and it also influences this game trailer. If you're a Chinese person, you probably have watched that drama when you were little. If you were born after the 80s, the style of the dubbing immediately brings back all those memories. It's really well done. At this point, our character runs into the first person that he has to fight off. If you look at the bottom of the screen, on the right-hand corner, it has a character standing holding a stick. And on the side, it is an icon with a character written inside. That icon says Yuan, which is ape. Later, you will see it being used, so it is the transformation that our main character can do. On the left side, you'll see the bars, that is like the health, the stamina kind of normal thing in gameplay. And on the side, you'll see 4 icons. Those are based on Sun Wukong's known superpower that is written in the book. The right one currently is cooling off, so you can tell this is the transformation into bug, one of his 72 transformations ability. On the left, that icon represents another Sun Wukong's ability called Ding Shen Zhou. Literally means the curse or the jinx to freeze somebody's body, and it will be used multiple times in this gameplay. The top icon represents another Sun Wukong's ability called Tong Tou Tie Bi, copperhead, iron arm. When he turns that on, he cannot be harmed. He's super hard and strong. So it is like the defense mode that you see in other gameplays, but they're all based on actual Sun Wukong's abilities. Then the bottom icon represents his ability to 吹毛成兵, blow hair into soldiers. So he can grab hair from himself because he's a monkey and he has a lot of hair and just blow at it, and it will turn into many other monkeys to fight off his enemies for him. So you can see the 4 abilities that our player has are all based on the book version of Sun Wukong, of his many incredible abilities. So this current enemy is saying, don't you dare to think just because those little soldiers could not recognize you that you can pass me easily. So this is a person who can actually tell monkey is transformed into a cicada and it cannot fool this character. So every character afterwards will be stronger. So here you see the left icon turns on and it is the 定神咒, freeze the enemy. This is a brilliant line, okay? The character 狼斥候 is saying, 不好啦，有个毛脸和尚闯进来了. Oh shit, shit happened. A furry-faced monk just broke in. If you've read the book or if you've watched the 1980s drama series, this is just a line that shows up so many times because Sun Wukong is always the attacker, the first person to go out and fight off all kinds of bad people. So he breaks into people's places carelessly and he breaks into mountains, breaks into other demons' territory. And every time he does that, you know, there will be little foot soldiers of those beings go, ah, shit, a furry-faced monk is here. So this line immediately makes a lot of Chinese people laugh. But yeah, if you haven't seen the drama before, you haven't read the book, you wouldn't really understand why it is funny. So he comes across another enemy he needs to fight off, and it's called 刀郎教头, literally means saber wolf coach. So this is like a teacher of other smaller soldier. This is one of the little boss in this game. And he's saying, who has come over here and disturbed my cultivation?
又是只猴子.
That's a very interesting line. 又是只猴子. Another monkey. So, it's kind of a leaking plot here. It's basically telling you a monkey has already come over here and done something. Now, this is the second monkey that has come over. Maybe that is hinting at what is the main plot line of this game, how it's playing on the original legend of Journey to the West and the story of Sun Wukong. Sorry if I'm getting a little bit overexposed. The sun has decided to come out. Okay, keep going.
施主不如放下棍棒，也同我学点佛法。
施主不如放下棍棒，也同我学点佛法。施主 is a monk, a Buddhist way of respectfully calling a person who is not a monk and who is potentially gonna give him money and food. 何不放下棍棒? Why don't you put down your stick and also learn a little bit Buddha's teaching from me? So presumably this coach is actually a Buddhist and who is very zen and who is very cultivated. So during this fight, we'll see Sun Wukong using the top icon's ability of 铜头铁臂, right? Defense, that he turns into super strong and an enemy cannot really hurt him.
莫非就是大王说的那？
And here, when he defeats his enemy, the enemy says, oh, are you the heaven-dictated person mentioned by our king? So it's also leaking plot. This game may have something to do with you as a player is the heaven-dictated, heaven-chosen person for what task. And here you'll see Sun Wukong pick up the weapon from the enemy and then put it into his ear. It's not shove it into his head, as some of the reaction videos said. It is put it into his ear, which is his common place of hiding his super powerful stick that is actually the pillar supporting the ocean that he steals. If you know the character, know the novel, you see that happening, you're really happy. It's like, such a great reference. Also, it's called 赤潮. That weapon literally means red tide. And it is a reference to the game company's previous game. Our Monkey King turns into the cicada again, and that ability has a timer on it. It's stealth mode.
万万小心！
You can hear that now is a voice talking to him, and it has a bracket literally saying a voice coming from under earth, from underground, and saying, be careful, if you move forward, you're gonna disturb more demons. Little monkey, come over here, here. So you can hear the voice coming out first before the character shows up, which later you'll see is the radish-like old man.
小神是黑风山的土地，在此候你多时了。
This old man with a stick and kind of radish head is saying, 小神是黑风山的土地. This little god is 黑风山, black-winged mountains, 土地, earth, literal meaning. So I am 黑风 mountains 土地神, which is China's mythology and folklore of a very localized small god called Earth God. And he is responsible for protecting this little region. 土地 has levels, so a very local 土地 is just a small 土地. And then many small 土地. On top of them, there's a bigger 土地 who is in control of a bigger region. And here, this bald, reddish-haired man is the Earth God of the Black Wing Mountain. And he's saying, I've been waiting for you for a long time.
像，真像。
That's great acting from an animated character, literally saying, similar. So similar. See, this is also leaking plot, because previously the other character said another monkey. Now this one is saying, look really similar. So, who is he, or who are you, as a player, looking similar to?
再往前走，就是
If you continue walking, that will be Guan Yin Zen Temple.
香火鼎盛。
Back then, that temple has many pilgrims.
可惜，
What a pity after that big fire.
哎呦，后来啊，
Later, the Zen temple got rebuilt.
又被重建了。可人心
But
若是少，
if the human heart got burned out, 人心 literally means human heart, but here it means people's trust, people's belief in something. When that gets burned off, you know, what's the point of building a physical structure, basically?
又有什么用呢？小老儿先走一步。
This little old man will leave first. It's a very typical thing from 土地神 to show up from the earth and then disappear into it. It usually calls itself this little old man. So another really well dubbed and written line. And he's telling our main player, I'll meet you later once you pass the plank road that's on the side of the mountain, which is what you're gonna see later. And the monkey hops over and running on the plank road. Then our character will come across 10 wolves. So those are all wolf soldiers, the foot soldiers of the wolf demon. And he's gonna use his power of turning into ape. If you freeze the frame when this character turns into the big ape, you will see that icon being clicked on the lower right hand corner and says ape. So he can transform into ape for a period of time. Now he keeps going and going to Guan Yin Changyuan, which was mentioned by the little earth god previously. Changyuan means Zen temple. Guan Yin is the Chinese name of a very well respected, very beloved bodhisattva in China. And he, yes, it's he actually, although he shows up as a woman's figure in Chinese culture mostly, he is the most commonly show up bodhisattva in Journey to the West, helping Tang Seng's team out on their way to get to the west to Buddha. And Guan Yin Changyuan, this place, also exists in the original novel. In the novel, it is on the Heifeng Mountain and it's ruled by a black bear and a good friend of that bear, which is a wolf. But they've both cultivate to the point that they have human forms, they have super powerful abilities. And in the book, Sun Wukong killed the wolf, but the bear is really strong and they fought for a long time and couldn't really figure who is the winner. Then the Guan Yin, the bodhisattva, comes in and solves the problem and actually really liked the bear. So he made the bear into a mountain god. It is one of the demons, one of the Yao in the Journey to the West that didn't get killed by Sun Wukong. But the wolf, as you see later in the game, did get. So you see the gameplay is heavily referred to the book and sticking to its plot. Here you'll see the monkey also coming across that little earth god again. And it's saying, shh, you know, be quiet, don't disturb that big dog, which is the wolf.
后院那厮是黑风怪的道友，自称灵虚子。
后院, in the backyard, that guy is the Heifeng Guai, the Heifeng demon, which is the bear's good friend called Ling Xuzi. If you think back on the earlier part, when the two wolves are talking about Ling Xuzi will eat them as side dishes, so the wolf is named Ling Xuzi. That is a very elegant, actually Taoism-ish name.
以你现在的道行，走了。 小子快逃，还来得及。
Based on your current skills, it is. And then he gets stopped and saying, "Little monkey, run away. You know, it's still time. Don't go ahead." But you're a gamer, right? You have to go ahead. So
这道门便回不了头。
if you enter the gate, you cannot come back. There's no way back. No turning back. Oh, now we see the big fluffy wolf. So during this fight, I'll just mention two things. You can see when he pulls his hair and blow and then make many little monkeys. That is his superpower, which is also the bottom icon on the left-hand corner. You would also see when he killed the previous coach, the icon on the right-hand corner, it's instead of ape, it has another one which says wolf. So I'm thinking in the game, when you defeat an enemy, you can have the ability to transform into him and also take his weapon. So that is when later, when the Monkey King is about to lose, he can switch on the wolf mode and becomes the previous character he defeated and then defeated this fluffy wolf. Really cool. So now after he fights off this wolf, I think here the game switches into the storytelling mode, which is you can't really control. It has to play the plot. And I think they haven't finished rendering it because if you pay attention, you'll see once it switches to this scene, this monkey doesn't have a tail. They probably haven't rendered that in. So it's not the gameplay now, it's the plot part. And the really cool thing, when the monkey swings and another stick stops him, and you see the lettering on the stick start to light up one by one. That is written in a form called 篆书, which is a particular type of calligraphy that's usually used for stamps, and it's an old version of Chinese, very old, and it says 如意金箍棒. That is the name of Sun Wukong's stick. It's a really super powerful weapon. 如意 means as you wish, so it's a lucky, auspicious kind of word. 金 means gold. 箍 is hoop. So that stick has golden rings on it. 棒 is stick. 如意金箍棒. That stick weighs over 5,000 kilos. Yes, and it can get big and get small at will, depending on how the monkey wants to use it. Isn't that cool? So this is very interesting because now you see, as the camera pans up, you see that it's the other Monkey King who is dressed in armor and who looks like the proper Monkey King. So now you have two monkey, both having a stick, but the other one has the 如意金箍棒, which is kind of the signifier of the real Sun Wukong, and the eyes flash, which is the real Sun Wukong's ability too. And it goes into many montages of the rendering of the plot that's going to happen later. Based on that, there is a possibility of either this is the journey to the west has all finished and you're starting a second journey, or it could actually be playing into the idea of 真假美猴王, real or fake Monkey King, which is a very important chapter in the book. Sun Wukong comes across another monkey called 六耳猕猴, who literally looks exactly like him, who has all his abilities, who has all his weapons. It's like a second copy of him. So you have two Monkey Kings, and who is going to prove that he is the real one? Could be that in the game version, they're telling the second version of the story, which is the real Sun Wukong died, and the fake Sun Wukong, because of how successful he was, really fooled everyone and got the Buddha's title, or it could be something else. So in the following scenes, it's cut together from different kind of gameplay, and some of them are gameplay because you can see the tail of the monkey. Some are definitely just the plot part because there's no tail. They probably haven't rendered it. I'm gonna pick out a couple of scenes during that montage and talk about what I think they might be. The part when he is like feeling headache and kneel down, and I've heard one of the reaction videos saying, what is the point of putting that in? Well, in the book's version, the monkey is very rebellious. He wants to run away from the monk, and the Guan Yin Bodhisattva comes in and gave the monk a particularly nasty thing, a crown thing that he put on the monkey's head. And when the monkey decides to rebel, the monk will just recite this mantra, and that hoop will start to tighten and make the monkey's head hurt, and there's no way to take it off. So every time he messes up, his teacher will just punish him in that way. So maybe it's referring to that headache thing, which is classic in Sun Wukong's story. So this part, when you see the swing monkey and the music starts to play, I have to mention, this is where the added in an instrument called Suona. I'll leave a link in the description box to one very famous Suona music that is on YouTube. Go and listen to it yourself. It is truly the overlord of all instruments. When you play Suona, it can cut through any other music instrument. It is an instrument in traditional China that is used for both huge celebrations and funerals. So, it is literally an instrument that you play from a person's birthbed to their deathbed. So there are many different types of enemies. Really cool. Looking at the tail, you can tell what is rendered for this, probably a plot or the gameplay actual. And here, a lot of people were like, wow, epic, what are the 4 freaking things? With the Monkey King standing in the foreground. These are the 4 四大天王, the 4 cardinal direction gods in the first level of the heavenly realm, which is in both Buddhism and Taoism, but it's actually based on Hinduism, if you want to go and research for it. In Chinese traditional culture, the 4 directions gods would be holding 4 different things. The east god would be holding a music instrument, piba. The west god would be holding a snake or a dragon. The north heavenly god would be holding an umbrella, which you can see in this shot. One of them is definitely holding an umbrella. And the south god will be holding a sword, for your information. In the Journey to the West novel, the Monkey King did defeat all 4 of them. Yeah, so they're big, but they're not that powerful. In Journey to the West standard. Then you see the Monkey King dressed in his armor and then traveling on his cloud. This cloud is also based on the book. It's called 筋斗云, literally means somersault cloud. He has this magic cloud that he rides on, and every somersault he does is 10,800 里, literally means 108,000 li. Li is an ancient Chinese length. It's like half a kilometer or something, but you know, pretty incredible. And in the background, you see a white dragon flying up. It's very likely that it is referring to the part of the plot in the book where they comes across the 3rd son of the dragon palace in the Ocean's King. So the Ocean King is a dragon, and one of his sons made a big mess and was about to get killed. And Guan Yin comes in again, the bodhisattva, and saying, don't kill it. I'll transform it into a horse and become the ride of the monk. If they manage to get to the west, successfully, then the dragon has paid for his crime and blah, blah, blah. So it is the little white dragon who gets transformed into the monk's ride. Poor thing. Then you see the Monkey King get to the heavenly realm and in the cloud fighting. This is referring to the earlier part of the book when the Monkey King gets his super powerful weapon and starts to go up to the heaven and mess up everyone's life in the heavenly realm. He fights off 100,000 heavenly soldiers. So that probably is that part. Then you see it fades into the title 悟空, which is Sun Wukong's name. Understanding Kong, the concept of emptiness. That's a direct translation, but it's not actually what it means. Very complicated. Anyway, and you see the final tagline, kind of suggesting they're rewalking the Journey to the West. So it's all hinting at a type of alternative storyline of Journey to the West, or maybe a second round of Journey to the West. And at the very, very, very end, hear this music. This would not mean anything if you're not Chinese, because that music is the modernized, the more exciting version that's based on the title music of the drama series Journey to the West, 西游记, that was made in the 1980s and was so popular in China, and it's like everyone's childhood memory. Da, 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 da. So when that gets to play, every Chinese person just goes crying, stand up, and standing ovation. So I've gone through the entire thing. I hope this video game can come out eventually. There's still a long way to go. You can go to Twitter to search. There's a lot of information on that about what's their progress, what they're looking forward to. Probably another 2 years plus before this thing can come out, if things happen according to plan. And their team is super small, currently only 30 people, and they really need 100 people to do it. So they are hiring. I sincerely hope this game can get made eventually to their liking, to the level that satisfies them. And if it maintains this level of quality, I may even try to play it. Although I have like probably not the best computer for it, and I don't have game console, I don't even have a television. Oh, we'll see in 2 years time. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, this really long video. Thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. Meanwhile, live long and happy game playing.